How do you explain to voters why the president is fighting your discharge petition or fighting the release of these documents from the Justice Department?
Well, I vote with my party 91% of the time, and which means I have agreed with the president 91% of the time. But when they're protecting pedophiles, when they are blowing our budget, when they are starting wars overseas, I'm sorry, I can't go along with that. And back home, people agree with me. They understand, even the most ardent Trump supporters understand sometimes he gets bad advice, sometimes he gives bad advice, and we wouldn't model our lives after him, his personal life, and they're okay with that. I mean, you can still like Donald Trump in Kentucky and like what I'm doing and what Ro Khanna is doing, which is trying to get transparency.
It's truly shocking to see a former MAGA loyalist like Kentucky Representative Tom Massie turn his back on Trump this forcefully and this publicly over the past few months. And even though we progressives share virtually no policy positions in common with someone like Massie, the Epstein cover-up is something that should unite everyone who isn't implicated. We absolutely hope that's the case, though we will just have to see how things play out in the coming days because of this.
We do have some major breaking news as we come on the air tonight because President Trump has now signed the Epstein files bill into law, the final step to force the Justice Department to turn over everything it has on Epstein within the next 30 days. Part of the president's lengthy statement, I'll read it here, where he said, quote, Jeffrey Epstein, who was charged by the Trump Justice Department in 2019, not the Democrats, with an exclamation point, was a lifelong Democrat, donated thousands of dollars to Democrat politicians, and was deeply associated with many well-known Democrat figures. The president goes on to write, perhaps the truth about these Democrats and their associations with Jeffrey Epstein will soon be revealed because I have just signed the bill to release the Epstein files. Trump says, as everyone knows, I asked Speaker of the House Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader John Thune to pass this bill in the House and the Senate. That, of course, came after he fought the bill, but he concluded with, this latest hoax will backfire on the Democrats just as all of the rest have. Thank you all for your attention to this matter.
First, the reason Donald Trump suddenly flipped on releasing the Epstein documents is simple. He lost control. Republicans in the House, led by Thomas Massie, forced the vote, pushed the bill through, and made it clear they were willing to break with him publicly. Trump realized he couldn't stop it, and instead of being seen as the one president blocking transparency on Epstein, he tried to get in front of it. Well, that's why he ended up signing the law last week, not because he wanted to, but because his hand was forced. Second, this issue has always been a political landmine for him. Every new email, every newly released document, every reference to his past relationship with Epstein reopens a chapter he's trying to bury. Even if he isn't accused of a crime, the optics are devastating. Epstein symbolizes elite protection, abuse of power, the very things Trump insists he's fighting against. But now that the bill is law, there's a 30-day countdown for the Department of Justice to release the documents with the public watching every move. That puts Trump on the defensive heading into 2026 and 2028 in a way he can't control. Now let's hear from the man himself, shall we?
We have nothing to do with Epstein. The Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. You look at this Reid Hoffman, you look at Larry Summers, Bill Clinton, they went to his island all the time, and many others. They're all Democrats. All I want for people to recognize a great job that I've done on pricing, on affordability, because we brought prices way down, but they're going way lower, on energy, on ending 8 wars and another one coming pretty soon, I believe. We've done a great job. And I hate to see that deflect from the great job we've done.
What you just heard was Donald Trump trying to bury an uncomfortable moment under talking points that simply aren't true about affordability, inflation, cost of living, topics that have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein, nothing to do with why he reversed himself. Because now that the bill is law, the story shifts from whether the documents come out to how complete the release will be, whether the administration uses exceptions in the law to limit what the public actually sees. And this is where the truth cuts through the politics. The Epstein system was never about Democrats versus Republicans. It was about power versus everyone else. A network of wealthy men protected by status, money, connection. Trump is part of that class. He knows it. That's why he tried so hard to block this release in the first place, and why he's now trying to pretend he's leading the transparency effort. It's an attempt to control the fallout before the fallout hits. The question now is whether any of this changes Trump's political future or the future of a Republican Party already showing visible fractures. Because this is the first time in years where House Republicans publicly defied him and won. The bill passed, he signed it. The country is now waiting for the DOJ's release of the Epstein files in less than 30 days. Even without direct accusations against him, this moment exposes Trump's vulnerability. He didn't act from strength, he acted because he had no choice. And that shift is something the public can feel. It matters to independents, suburban voters, even parts of his base who don't like the idea of any politician looking scared. Regardless of what the documents ultimately show, the political reality is already here. Donald Trump tried to bury this. He failed. Now he has to live with the consequences. Epstein files are coming out. The country, for once, gets to see what powerful people didn't want them to see.